Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are the Lions.
Well, we had a few raindrops earlier this afternoon, but right now, we're keeping our fingers crossed. We welcome you to Great American Ballpark, the rubber game of this three-game series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. And hi again, everybody, alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley and Jim Day. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. When Keva Sampson first came to the big leagues, Cowboy, very impressive. Got a lot of people out, threw the ball well. Recently, he has struggled. Why?
I think sometimes, Tom, as a young pitcher, the first few starts, you don't think about it that much. You just go out there, you throw the ball, try to get outs. But all of a sudden, you start seeing all of the video, you start seeing all the statistics, and you start to think, boy, that guy's pretty good. That guy's pretty good. I've got to be real careful when I approach these guys at the plate. No, you do not. You've got to get the ball over the plate, and that is something that he has had an awfully difficult time doing. You see those numbers in the last four starts. He'll have to do better than that here tonight.
Well, it makes you wonder the way he's throwing the ball, even if he was having a good game, because he really hasn't been stretched out in quite a while. Might you need the bullpen, and might we see some guys, in Finnegan's case, whom we've never seen, and in Cingrani's case, it's been a long time.
Well, I know that the Reds would love to see Brandon Finnegan in a big league ball game. I know they would like to see him start, but you see the numbers in AAA. Didn't go quite well, but he has pitched out of a big league bullpen with the Royals and threw the ball awfully, awfully well. That's what the Reds want to see, and they want to see Tony Cingrani throw out of the bullpen just the same.
Jay Happ, the Reds have ownership on this guy through the years, but he apparently is pitching a lot better as a Pirate since coming over in a trade.
Using a lot more of the fastball since he got with Ray Searage and the Pittsburgh Pirates. His first start a little bit shaky, but since then, look at those numbers. We have not seen any of that against the Reds, whether it be in this ballpark or anywhere else against J.A. Happ. It'll be very interesting to see how he approaches the Reds tonight.
All right, when we come back, Jim Day is standing by to talk about his buddy Billy Hamilton. In fact, rumor has it Jim Day's going to his birthday party.
International Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. By Chevy, check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time.
Gloomy down at the ballpark tonight, and much cooler than it has been. Chance of showers, first pitch, rounding second, and headed for home. During the game, you may catch a few showers. Temperature-wise, take a look at that, 74 down to 70. All right, young kids, get a hitting. Get them on, get them over, and get them in. Enjoy the game, everybody, on Fox Sports Ohio.
I'm Jim Day. Billy Hamilton back from a rehab stint. He is back in the lineup on his 25th birthday, and contrary to previous reports, I will not be attending the birthday party. But Hamilton is back, and against a left-handed pitcher, he is leading off tonight. When he has been on, he has been one of the guys that fuels the fire. 226 average this year, but when he gets on, he's just lethal. 54 stolen bases, scored 54 runs, wreaking havoc on the pitching staff. Now, he went down to Double-A Pensacola for 3 games on a rehab stint. His old stomping grounds, he was right in the middle of a playoff chase. He loved the atmosphere and had fun being down there.
Those guys coming in every day happy. You see them smiling. They out there and during the games and in the dugout. Those guys were pumped up, man. So like, it gave me the punch for like being in a playoff situation. You know what I'm saying? Makes you want to just do whatever you can for us to get in that position to be in the playoffs and see how those guys were. So we want to be the same way. So
Billy's back. It's the rubber game of 3. Reds and the Buccos. First pitch is next on your home for Reds baseball, Fox Sports Ohio.
And we're keeping our fingers crossed it'll stay that way the rest of the night and get this one in. Rubber game of the 3-game series. The Reds took the opener 3-1 behind Anthony DeSclafani, Clint Hurdle's team, behind Francisco Liriano. 7-3 winners last night. We look at the Bucs starting lineup tonight. Polanco in right, Marte in left, Andrew McCutcheon in center. Aramis Ramirez again at first, Kung down at third, Walker at second. Cervelli behind the plate, Jordy Mercer at short, half on the mound. Kivas Sampson looking to get untracked here tonight.
Yeah, you look back at the first 2 appearances in a big league uniform for Kivas Sampson. They both came, those appearances, against the Pirates. One in a relief role, one in a starting role, and he threw the ball pretty well. He stayed ahead in the count in those ball games. He's going to have to do that here, especially as he begins this ball game. These three first batters, all outfielders, all tough outs.
All right, here we go. Polanco, first pitch swinging, dumps it foul and out of play, and this one is underway. Little on the sticky side. The temperatures have dropped dramatically. It's only 75 degrees, but there is a lot of humidity in the air. And a line drive stung into left center field, a base hit. This will be extra bases for Polanco, who can really run.
First pitch was down. This pitch right at the bottom of the mask of the catcher, Barnhart.
Did you ever see that movie, Dumb and Dumber? What's her name? Maybe it's not her dad. Oh, I see it. Samsonite.
Starling Marte at 284, 16 home runs, 68 runs batted in. He sat out the first game of the series. He certainly had an impact in last night's game. Had 3 hits, a double, 2 singles, scored a run, and bunts it beautiful. And that'll be a sacrifice for Marte, advancing Polanco down to third. McCutchen coming up with 1 out in the inning. You look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. You know the infield. Otto, Phillips, Suarez, Frazier. De Jesus and out of left. Billy Hamilton, as Jim Day talked a moment ago, back in the lineup in center. And Jay Bruce in right. Tucker Barnhart hanging his sides. It was the first inning in last night's game against Raisel Iglesias when McCutchen came to the plate, runner at third, 1 out like he does now, and Iglesias struck him out. But he would more than make up for that. His next time up, flubbed a 3-run home run to the seats in right field, part of a 5-run Pittsburgh third to knock Iglesias out of the game. His first poor start since the end of July. 2-0 on McCutchen. There was no doubt about that when the second had left the bat. McCutchen's 21st home run of the season. He's driven in 88 runs. Jumps all over a 2-0 pitch. And off speed on 2-0 to have McCutchen way out in front. What does Kiva Sampson need to do, Cowboy, to be effective?
Settle down that adrenaline. All 3 of the first pitches, Barnhart setting away. They've all been inside. He's missed all the way across the plate.
It's in the air to center field. Be caught by Hamilton, but this will easily plate the run. And it's 1-0 Pirates. A double, a bunt, a sac fly. That's winning baseball.
Get him over, get him in.
The Pirates officially clinched a winning season. Of course, they're going to be far better than that. They got their 82nd win against just 55 losses on the year last night. It was only 3 years ago, about this time, 2013, where Clint Hurdle had them believing in Pittsburgh. They had not had a winning season since they won then the National League East back in 1992. Lost that year in the National League Championship Series to the Braves. 3rd year in a row they had lost in the NLCS. Then 20 years before another winning season. Now it'll be 3 in a row.
Total culture change in that Pirate locker room and the organization for that matter.
0-2 on Ramirez, a 10-pitch inning. But the Pirates get a run. Reds coming to bat against Jay Happ when we return. Bottom of the first inning, Reds coming to bat against Jay Happ. Let's take a look at Brian Price's starting lineup. Presented by Meyer. Billy Hamilton to the top, DeJesus in left, Joey Votto at third. Brandon Phillips, Todd Frazier, Jay Bruce in the middle. Suarez, Barnhart, Sampson, the latter third against Happ, who in 6 starts has a 4-1 record with the Pirates. And look at the earned run average and look at the opponent's batting average.
After looking at what Ray Searage, the Pirates pitching coach, did for Liriano, did the same thing for Melanson, Jason Grilli, and it continues to do it with different starting pitchers that come into this organization, you have to wonder if the mechanical change and the mental change for Jay Happ with Ray Searage has really turned this kid's career around. I mean, this was a very high prospect. Everybody wanted this kid when he came up in the Philly organization.
Take a look at what he was doing before he came to the Pirates with Seattle. Those are the numbers, quite honestly, we're used to seeing from Happ, and he strikes out Billy Hamilton on 3 pitches, and that last one was 1.5 feet outside and high. 1 out in the inning.
And let's remember, with those numbers, as we see the high fastball way up and away from Hamilton, with those numbers in Seattle, Seattle is a pitcher's ballpark.
Yep.
That's where fly balls go to die. Little mechanical change, little different thought process. Jay Happ is on the money right now for the Pirates. 7 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball in St. Louis in his last start.
That's getting it done right there.
We know that is not easy to do.
No, it is not. Ivan DeJesus Jr., a .247 hitter, 4 home runs, 18 runs batted in. DeJesus has certainly been one of the pleasant surprises for the Reds this year. They brought him into spring training. He played well there. Did not make the club initially out of spring training. Went down, did all the things the team wanted him to do. Brought him to the major leagues. He's been there ever since. And has been a solid contributor.
I don't think that you would have to worry playing Ivan DeJesus Jr. anywhere on the field of play. I think there's not a position that you'd, even behind the plate, I don't think you would have to worry about it. It's a valuable commodity.
Mm-hmm. 3-2 the count on DeJesus. He certainly did not agree with Bill Welke. He's a crew chief and the home plate umpire. Laz Diaz at first, John Trumpain at second, and James Hoy the umpire at third. 3-2 pitch, and it's strike 3 called. 2 out in the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts for Happ.
Those last 2 pitches crossed the heart of the plate at the very bottom of the strike zone. That one might have been a little bit low, but the previous pitch was right on the money. And I'm telling you, from a pitcher standpoint and a home plate umpire standpoint, if you're consistently around the same spot on the plate, you're going to get that call more times than not.
Joey Votto, first pitch swinging, dumps it foul and out of play. He's IGS bringing the energy every night. Look at these numbers for Joey against Happ in his career. And for that matter, Brandon Phillips. And they hit back-to-back in this lineup here tonight. Fastball high and tight. Is that called a strike? I think Votto's saying, you got to be kidding.
It appears that we are going to have a large zone here tonight. See where that pitch is now.
Well,
according to Fox Tracks, it's a strike.
That one's not called a strike. 2-2 pitch, and that's ball 3.
How to get Votto to chase that ball up. You can see Cervelli raising the mitt, trying to get the ball up in the zone, but the pitch is just a bit higher than where the strike call began.
So now the payoff pitch coming to Votto. It's on the way from Happ, and he fights it off, and again running that fastball up and in on him. But Joey able to dump it foul and out of play and live for another pitch.
Normally, I think that's a pitch that Votto would take, but after the high strike call early in this at bat, you have to take a swing at it.
That strike 3 called, and what an impressive first inning for Happ. He fans the side. End of 1-0 Pirates in front.
Bat against Aramis Ramirez, 3 awfully good pitches, and this is where Sampson needs to pitch. Perfect pitcher's pitch there. He duplicates it on the second. All Ramirez can do is foul it off, and this is where the big hook comes into play. You establish the fastball down, then you come with the yellow hammer.
Well, let's see if he can carry that into this second inning. First pitch swinging is Gunn, and he comes up empty. Gunn 2 hits, both extra base hits, a double and a home run to deep left center field into the second deck, in fact, here last night. Boy, when this guy hits him, there is very little doubt about it. There's a one-hopper Frazier's way. 1 out. So a good start to this inning for Kiva Sampson, and now the second baseman Neil Walker makes his way to the plate. 264 hitter, 13 home runs, 57 runs batted in. Strike 1. That's something you said from the very beginning, and of course it holds true for a lot of pitchers, but it seems like even more so for younger pitchers, getting ahead in that count.
And especially early in the ball game. If you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss. You want to miss down below the strike zone.
Good pitch there, fastball in.
And he cut that one in on the hands of Walker.
And now ahead of the Pirates second baseman at a ball and 2 strikes. Pirates scored a run in the first inning, a double, a bunt, and a sac fly from the first 3 hitters in their lineup. Pirates well aware as they come into play 4.5 back at the start of play today of the front running Cardinals in the National League Central. Cardinals finally got a win against the Cubs. Nice play by Sampson, hard hit ball, and it's out number 2. But the Pirates beat the Cubbies 4-3 earlier today. We invite you to keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Visit MLB.TV today. Well, you never say never, but we've talked the last couple of nights about the Mets and the Nationals and how that series began. It was a 4-game Mets lead when that series started 2 days ago. The Mets have won each of the first 2 games, so it stands at 6. And going into tonight's game, it almost has a feeling, and looking through some of the Washington articles about the Nationals, that really tonight, and you never say never, but one of those games where, you know, you get it to 5, you feel like, okay, we still have a fighting chance. That slips to 7 with 3 weeks to go. You're in big trouble. And that's where they stand. You know, it's always funny how the manager, and in this case Matt Williams, or the general manager Mike Rizzo, I mean, it's part of the territory, getting raked across the coals about this collapse. A team in Washington many thought would advance on to the World Series, and who knows, maybe they will. But boy, the guys here paying a lot of money have either been hurt, and they've had even more of them that just did not deliver the goods, especially on the mound.
And I think you look at this pitching staff for the Nationals, that everyone just assumed they were just going to walk the dog from day one. It's not been that way.
That's why I've never paid 5 minutes of attention. And when people ask me to do it, I won't even do anymore. About preseason prognostication.
Especially
it is just
in this
a complete waste of time. 3-2 pitch. And there's a 2-out walk. That's a category the Reds have suffered from this entire year. And you can say, well, a lot of young pitchers, well, they were walking a lot of guys with 2 outs when everybody wasn't so young. When you retire the first 2 batters in an inning, the number 7 hitter at the plate, you'd like to think he would earn his way on. And I guess he did by drawing a walk. So here's the number 8 hitter, Jordy Mercer. Strike 1. You know, Cowboy Chris talks about that stat frequently when he's over here on the television side, about all the 2-out walks, and, you know, talking about how pitchers seemingly, a lot of young pitchers, it happens to them, and a loss of focus or concentration. I want to get your thoughts about that, because as I've asked him, and I'm going to ask you and hear your response when we come back to break, what else do you have to concentrate on? 1-0 Pirates in front. Ohio data strong fan. We might put you on the tube coming up here soon. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. We will put someone up a little bit later on in the game. Back to the question I asked you, Mr. Brantley.
As a pitcher, whether you're young or old, it really doesn't matter. When you get 2 quick outs, you have to have the mentality, I'm going to slam the door in your face. That's what you've got to be thinking in your mind. I'm going to attack the zone. I'm going to make this guy make weak contact. I'm going to make you hit my pitch. And a lot of times you think, all right, I've got 2 quick outs, and you have a tendency to back off a little bit. As soon as you do that, you lose focus, and you lose focus of the strike zone, and it results in a walk. Some guys do that to begin the inning.
Jay Happ fanned the side in the first inning. Pirates lead 1-0, and it's ball 1 to Brandon. 295 batter, 11 home runs, 55 batted in. Phillips had 2 hits and 4 at-bats here last night.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between pregame study of hitters' weaknesses, and then when you cross the line, you have to turn into an animal. Sports is about aggression and competitiveness, and if you can't channel that in the right direction, and you're still thinking about the video or the statistics that you've been looking at all day, you're in trouble. And that doesn't matter if you're a hitter or a pitcher. You've got 15 years in, or you've got 1 day.
I like that fella right there sitting next to that family. Fielded that ball off 1 hop and handed it to that little boy. Well, that was mighty nice.
Made his day.
Young couple sitting down there next to that family of 4. I think that fella to the left there, clapping his hands, gave that little boy the baseball. Here we go. How about that?
Pretty good catch, too.
Good for him. That is a very, very nice gesture, sir. Dad tried to give it back. Guy said, nah, give it to your main man. That's a big league move. Big league.
And his little sister saying, I'm going to get that ball.
Well, she'll get cotton candy. Here's a soft liner. And then that ball won't mean a thing in the world. Because the little boy will say, I'll give her the ball. I get the cotton candy. You know how that works.
Yeah, I know. Well, what we're seeing from Jay Happ early in this ball game, a lot of fastballs. He's just trying to establish down in the strike zone early in the count, and then he's elevating the fastball late in the count to try to get pop-ups or swings and misses. He got 3 of those strikeouts on swings and misses with that fastball in the first inning.
Frazier at 257, 30 home runs and 78 runs batted in. He's quickly down as strike 1 on a slow breaking ball by Happ. That ball hit hard into deep center field, and that baby flies out of here. That's the Todd Frazier we saw in the first half. 1-1 game.
Slow that front shoulder and front hip down a little bit. That ball was to the right field side of second, but he hit it like an absolute rocket. A backdoor breaking ball. Pitch may not even caught the plate. Actually, that's a pitcher's pitch right there, and he still hit it out. When your catcher is reaching down to catch the baseball, normally that's a pretty good pitch. Not there.
So just like that, we start all over again, tied at 1. That's a career high for Frazier, 31 home runs. You got to go back to Greg Vaughn in that magical ride in 1999 for a Reds right-handed batter to hit 30 or more home runs in a season. Vaughn, the undisputed leader of that Reds team that played 1 additional game at the old Riverfront Stadium, where they were completely shut down in that 1-game playoff by the New York Mets left-hander Al Leiter. what a piece of work that guy is, Al Leiter. Well, what a lot of fun he is.
Oh. And he had fun playing too. Throwing that big sweeping cutter up there. Talking about tearing some bats up.
I remember I've never felt so bad for a guy. He joined us in 2003, us in the booth with Fox, as Ramirez comes in to get that ball for the second out of the inning. Those were the days at Fox when we had both league championship series for a long time, and we would bring in a current player or manager to work as a third man in the booth. And here we are at Wrigley Field. Place is rocking and rolling for game one, and we make the decision we're going to do the open of the telecast live. I turned to Steve Lyons, got his comments about the Cubs. I turned to Al Leiter to get his comments about the Marlins. And as has happened to every single one of us who have ever worked in television, there was just nothing there. You couldn't open your mouth or find any words if you could open your mouth. The old boy locked up. We've all been there.
When that red light comes on, there tends to be a little bit of hesitancy.
Tell you what, from then on, though, he was lights out, man. He was really good.
I like listening to it.
He did a really, really, really good job. And, of course, that's how he makes a living now. I think he still does some Yankee games. He's on MLB Network, right? One and two on Eugenio Suarez. And that's strike three called. That's 4 strikeouts for half. But Todd Frazier ties this baby up with a long one to center. 1-1, end of 2 in Cincinnati.
Fox Sports Ohio. I'm Jim Day up in the stands. If you were a fan of the Reds of the 1980s, perhaps you remember this guy. This is lefty Joe Price, who's back at the ballpark tonight, and he's doing much more than just taking in a ball game. First of all, Joe, it's great to see you, and thanks for joining us. This is Angioma Alliance Day, raising awareness and raising funds for angioma, and I know it's near and dear to your heart. First of all, while we're raising awareness, explain to everyone what angioma is.
Well, it's cavernous angioma, and it's it can appear on your skin as like a raspberry raised, raspberry colored, like a slight skin tumor, and it's a group of blood vessels that can rupture at any time. Most of them are underneath the skin and around the brain and spinal column, and so it's sometimes it's too late when they find out, you know, that the person actually had it. But I've got a cousin who has 2 young boys that are afflicted with it. And to see what they go through on a daily basis is just heartbreaking. And so anything I can do to raise awareness, I'm 100% in.
Well, you raised some funds throughout the first pitch tonight, and I know you're very happy that the Reds were very open and wanted to get involved.
It's awesome. You know, my cousin called. They did this up in Boston. In Boston, they raised a lot of funds. But I asked her to call Dick Williams. Dick Williams, you know, from the very first call, was 100% behind it. I couldn't be more proud of the Reds, the way they stepped up. And it's a beautiful thing to see, you know, the 4-year-old Dylan, who was down there with me. He had surgery in August, you know, a brain surgery, and he's reacted well to it and doing very well. And that's what you like to see, is the kids that just get a chance to enjoy themselves like normal kids do.
There's a check presentation before the game of funds raised, and right now surgery is the only option, correct? So we'd like to get some money for some research.
Yeah, the research is pivotal, like any disease, and you know, the surgery is the kind of the last step along the way. But anything that we can do to raise money to get the research going is well needed, and I'm just, like I said, I'm very happy that the Reds stepped up the way they did.
If fans would like to get involved and raise the awareness or raise funds, is there somewhere they can go, perhaps a website?
Yes, angioma.org. It's the official name is cavernous angioma, but they can go to angioma.org and they'll get information there, a ton of information. And I would urge people to get involved. I know that there's a lot of different causes that people can get behind, but I'm really drawn to one that affects kids that don't have any choice but to deal with this. So please, if you can, check it out, help out.
Well, Joe, it's a tremendous thing you're doing, and it's great that you're up here from Florida tonight, and you look like you could still pitch. This guy's still in shape. Now, I understand that our guy in the booth, Jeff Brantley, you were one of his mentors.
Oh, I don't know. I don't take any credit for that. Jeff had a great career. I was very fortunate to get to know Jeff in the Giants system. And we played a little bit in San Francisco, but he went on and had a great career. And Jeff, howdy. Sorry if I don't get up to see you, but hope all's well.
Well, he gave you credit and said that you were one of his guys. So, Joe Price, great to see you. Great what you're doing.
Thank you very much, Jim.
All right, let's go back to Tom and Joe's mentor.
And please tell him I said hello as well. He's a good man, Joe Price, isn't he?
Unbelievable. And for him to say that he didn't do it, he did a lot for me. I can remember trying to figure out how to pitch in not only AA but AAA, and just the effect of what we talk about now about trying to throw a breaking ball for a strike at 2-1 or 3 or 2-0. Just the pitching aspect of the game. But probably more important to me than anything was Joe Price taking me shopping for big league clothes when I got called up to the big leagues.
There's a tapper back to the mound. Kivas will handle it himself. We certainly thank Joe Price for joining us and wish him well. Exclusive ticket offers and enjoy face painting. We have live mascot races, lots of games, and so much more. And kids 14 and younger receive this Sunday a Homer Bailey poster thanks to PNC Bank. Come on down to the ballpark this Sunday.
I don't think any young player ever forgets what the veteran players did for them.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, how could you, right?
You never forget.
Because you were telling a story, in between innings, a lot of times I think it's easy for those of us plus to be around this game for a long, long time. These players come from different parts all over the country and now all over the world. And a simple thing like you mentioned, getting close. I mean, you're growing up down in the South and, going to college and, really through your high school years and your college years, just like kids everywhere, not just in the South, but everywhere. I mean, you got a pair of jeans, maybe you own a pair of khakis or something, to go to church in and maybe one shirt and a tie, maybe, and now all of a sudden,
you got to dress up.
You got to dress up when you get on planes, and little things like that, or whether it's especially for the Hispanic players, and coming to a country where they don't even know the language, trying to order food. I mean, you've done that when you've gone down to winter ball.
And Joe Price introduced me to my agent Joe Bick, who I had forever. I mean, I didn't know you had to have somebody to help you. I was just kind of out there. I didn't think you had to dress up. I just figured if you got them out, you'd be all right.
Well, normally that's the way it works after you're around for a while.
Yeah. Back then, it was coat and tie on the plane.
And even, a lot of people ask us frequently about what the travel is like with a major league team. Even now, just about every single team, that is still what you wear.
Right.
A pair of slacks, no jeans. And you, at the very minimum, have to wear a sport coat. Some teams still a tie.
Look professional.
One ball game. Bottom of the third. Tucker Barnhart lifts one into right field. That'll be handled by Polanco, and that's out number one here in the Reds' third inning.
Talked about Happ pitching down early and up late. Well, when he goes up, it's not belt high up and in the middle of the plate. It's up above the letters. So when you make contact, you're on the upswing. Very difficult to hit that ball with any kind of authority at all. And it changes the eye level of the batter at the plate.
Keeper Sampson 0 for 9 as a major league hitter. He has settled in rather nicely here tonight after allowing that double to start the game. Pirates put down a bunt, then hit a sac fly to score their only run. He's only allowed one base runner since the double to start the game. 1-2 on Sampson. Oh boy, look out. Holy Moses. Jim Day, that went right over your head, I do believe.
That almost that split the difference between me and Frazier, who was sitting down here, and nearly hit the bat boy. That was a shot.
Yeah,
that was scary.
You got Billy Hamilton sitting there right in front of you there, Jim Day. I made the comment before the game There's strike 3 to Sampson. I am not a Twitter follower of anyone, but you know, a lot of people up and around the booth are, and so on and so forth. And it was brought to our attention that Billy Hamilton put out on Twitter today that he's having a big birthday party. Is that right?
Well, you're the one that informed me, or you guys, so I didn't know. I understand you're working the door of this event tonight, meet and greet.
We'll see. It depends on the pay.
Oh, okay. I thought you were working the door. I will not be attending. I did not know what was going on. In fact, I'm sure he doesn't want me there. But he's 25 today.
Well, happy birthday, Billy Hamilton. Two balls and no strikes. Now, I have not seen the actual invitation. I was just told about it. But is it, Cowboy, do you know anything about this? You're on Twitter from time to time.
I just happened to see it.
You happen to see it. Was it an invitation for people to just come on down, or?
I think it was an invitation with an email address and a phone number that you can call.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I'm sure somebody out there who follows Billy Hamilton on Twitter is probably saying, well, no kidding. I've known all about it all day. I just had never heard of that before. I thought it was rather interesting.
I would concur.
2 balls and a strike. He just swung at ball 3. Yeah, in fact, Joe Luckham, he's a big Twitter guy, our statistician up here. He just pulled it up. Except it's on Twitter, but it says it's a private party invite only. Obviously, you have to be 21 or older, but it doesn't say where it is. I just hope they have a great time. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Billy Hamilton. I'm sure Jesse Jackson from right here in the booth will be part of the festivities. He says no way. All right. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And at strike 3, Hamilton has struck out for the second time, this time looking. Pappas fans 6 through the front 3. 1-1 at the end of 3. A moment ago, 1992, to get to 82 wins, they did it in their 141st game. They would not have a winning season again until 2013. And as you can see, they have done it the fastest that they've done it the last, 5 times they've been a 500-plus team. Their 137th game. I just don't think you can say enough about the job that Clint Hurdle has done with his franchise. I know everybody around here knows where the Pirates were and how bad they were for so long. It's one thing to bring in good players. They've done that. But the change of culture, it's a phrase you hear used frequently in all sports. But to actually do it is just an incredible accomplishment.
Yeah, I think their general manager, Neil Huntington, you bring in talent, you try to build your farm system, redo things. But it's really up to the guys that are in that locker room to figure out a way to win on a daily basis.
Kivas Sampson is getting it rolling pretty good here tonight. That's his second strikeout. He's only allowed one hit.
And watch where this pitch is. We showed you earlier the pitch selection to Aramis Ramirez. That is right on the money, right down around the bottom of the kneecaps. You pitch down there, you're going to get hitters out more times than not.
Strike one to Aramis Ramirez. He's the other strikeout for Kivas Sampson here tonight. Got him swinging, ending the first inning. The first batter of the game, Polanco double. The bunt, a fly ball later. 3 batters in, 1-0 Pittsburgh. The only Pirate to reach since then, and we're in the 4th inning now, was a 2-out walk to Cervelli in the 2nd inning. So Kivas has retired 10 of the last 11. Bouncing ball, make it 11 of 12. Votto will wave him off. As we always do, later on tonight, we'll have our Miller Time moment brought to you by Miller Lite. The last stop on the just completed road trip was in Chicago's Wrigley Field. The Reds won that series. It was their first series win since beating the Cardinals 2 out of 3 at the end of July. So here they are with a chance tonight to win their 2nd series of the last 3 they have played. And at this point in the year, the way the year has gone, you'll take every small victory you can get.
I think anytime that you win a series, it gives you a sense of accomplishment and a sense of pushing forward. One game, not so much. Winning a series makes you feel pretty good about yourself.
What's a nasty pitch right there.
Hard cutting slider. When Sampson keeps his upper body behind the front side, that's what you get. You get downward action. When his top of his body starts coming to the plate early, the ball elevates. Well, that's good.
Man, does he look good tonight. 3 strikeouts, back-to-back perfect innings. A 1-1 game in the middle of the 4th.
Fox Sports Ohio. I'm Jim Day. Let's give you that update on Christopher Negron. Made an outstanding catch last night in left field, but had to leave. It was announced at the time that he had a partially dislocated shoulder. That was confirmed today when he met with Reds medical director Timothy Krimchek, but it gets worse from there. Not only does he have a partial dislocation of that left shoulder, but he has a fracture in his scapula, and even worse, a torn labrum. It is a very similar injury to John Moscott. In fact, you guys made that comparison last night. He will have surgery just like John Moscott did, and his recovery time, they say, approximately 5 months. So a tough one right there, and we wish Christopher Negron the best.
Well, you know, there's no one around who will work harder to try and get back and be ready to go in spring training next year than Christopher Negron. That's in his DNA. Two, 3, and 4 in the batting order. 1-1 game. Reds bat in the 4th inning. DeJesus called out on strikes in the 1st inning. He didn't like the 3-1 pitch. It was called a strike. And he thought the 3-2 pitch was ball 4. It was called strike 3. Two balls and a strike on DeJesus, and that's ball 3. Cardinals come in town starting tomorrow night, the first of 4. In fact, they're probably here already, having flown out after their afternoon come from behind 4-3 win against the Chicago bullpen. That was another start by another Cub pitcher. If the name isn't Arrieta's, that one is shot down the right field line. It'll fall in a base hit. And that is a single by DeJesus. You know, Cowboy, when we were in Chicago, we talked about it frequently that Joe Madden, you know, unless it's Arrieta on the mound, I mean, there aren't many guys going more than 5 or 6 innings of that whole starting rotation. John Lester had to come out of that game before he could pitch very deep into the game, and the Cardinals rallied late.
We saw that a lot in Chicago.
Sure did.
4 innings, 5 innings for the starter. All of a sudden, you got a lefty-righty combo, and that bullpen is making a steady march to the mound.
Lester gave him 7. So, you know, you would think that
would be enough.
That would be enough, but apparently it is not. He only gave up 1 run. Cardinals rallied for 3 against the Chicago bullpen. 1 ball and 1 strike on Joey Votto. He struck out looking his first time up, and he knew it. The career numbers for Votto in 115 games. .333 hitter with 65 knocked in against the Pirates. I'll tell you, the guy that's worn out the Pirates this year is a guy on deck. I mean, put those numbers into context. That was 115 games, and Votto's knocked in 65. Phillips has knocked in 11 this year against the Pirates.
Votto not very happy at all with that last strike call. He's had a couple of pitches that were elevated, very borderline, but called strikes nonetheless.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Votto. And he went around strike 3, and that's something you brought up earlier, Cowboy, because of other pitches during an at-bat, and now 2 at-bats. He must feel like he has to swing at some of these pitches.
And that's where Happ has thrown really predominantly this entire ball game. When he's gotten ahead, he's gone back up in the top of the strike zone. And boy, is that a tough pitch to get the bat to with any kind of authority at all. Normally that's just a pop-up. Even if you make contact with that pitch up there, it's a pop-up.
Brandon lined out very softly to the second baseman Walker his first time up. Looks at a fastball, strike one here. 1 run, 2 hits for the Reds. 1 run, 1 hit for the Pirates. The Reds scored on a Todd Frazier solo home run in the second inning after the Pirates scored in the first off Sampson.
The thing about it, when you watch Happ throw the ball, look at where Cervelli sets up. If he wants the ball right at the hitter's hands, more times than not, Happ's very close to that area where the mitt is set up. That pitch he wanted backdoor down and away, and he missed just off the edge. Still a pretty good pitch. They're going back out there again. Because those pitches to Votto, you can see Cervelli holding the mitt up around the letters. You don't see that too often.
One ball and 1 strike on Brandon Phillips. And again, De Jesus, who does not have a stolen base in 2 attempts, draws a throw. What a turnaround on the home front, huh?
I'd say.
Go figure that. There's just no explanation for it. One ball, 2 strikes.
See where that mid is.
Yep.
Up high again. And even though Phillips squares it up, the ball's dead foul over the first base dugout. Just not a whole lot you can do with it because you're not expecting it, number one. And you tend to get underneath it. You're looking for a pitch down in the zone to try to guard against the breaking ball or that quick, sneaky fastball.
Well, Happ has a strikeout pitch working tonight. He has 7 of them, and we're 1 out into the 4th inning. Go ahead running first with 1 out. Breaking ball, grounded. That's a fair ball. And playing to first is Gunn. And they get the out there. He initially looked in second base and decided against it. Runner in scoring position with 2 away. And during our game tonight, if a Red hits a home run off that Toyota sign, Joe Larison from Williamstown, Kentucky, will win that tonight. And you can still register for your chance to win in an upcoming game. Just stop by your Cincinnati and/or Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Try to race through that like they do at the end of car commercials.
But they do that with technology.
I know. I always thought that dude was amazing. How can anybody talk that fast?
Super fast lips.
Where does that guy live? I want to talk to him about quickly he's able to do it.
He doesn't live in Alabama, I can tell you that.
What about Mississippi?
I ain't married. You couldn't even speed that up with a machine. You forget it.
You know, you ought to get a hold of that technology sometime and get one of your buddies down there real talking slow and nice, and then speed that thing up just to hear what it sounds like.
I'm doing good to help people understand what I'm saying to begin with.
1-1 in the air, right field. This will back up Polanco a few paces, but should end the inning and does. End of 4. Reds and the Pirates tied at 1.
dealer. Ford, go further. By Meyer, find more for a healthier you at Meyer. By Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on U.S. News and World Report's Best Children's Hospital. And by USAA, who today honors all of our service members at home and abroad. I'm Jim Day. Like Tom Brennan likes to do, we'd like to wish everyone watching at Children's Hospital a wonderful night. We hope you have a good day as well tomorrow. Earlier today, those at Children's Hospital were, well, they had their day brightened up just a little bit because a number of Reds made the track over to Children's Hospital. You can see a group picture right here. Skip Schumacher, J.J. Hoover, Pedro Villarreal. Amongst the group there, Adam Duvall also went over there. Now, about 5 to 6 times a year, Reds players as a group will go over there. But those two in particular, J.J. Hoover and Skip Schumacher, really make it a regular thing on their schedule. They'll go even once a week when they're on a homestand. And most of the time they are visiting cancer patients. And I talked to Skip Schumacher many, many times about this. And he goes over there, and it obviously makes him feel better. But also when he leaves it, it's almost like he says it breaks his heart because he has children of his own, and he can't imagine. He sees what these families are going through, not only the children, but their parents and everyone involved, and he just thanks his lucky stars that it's not their kids. But I got to tell you, just to go over there on a regular basis, and he's not doing it for publicity. Trust me on that. It's just a wonderful thing to brighten those kids' day.
And of course, Cincinnati Children's Hospital is the #1 pediatric cancer hospital in the United States of America. #1. And look, there's a lot of heartbreak over there. There's no doubt about that. But there's also a lot of wonderful stories about kids who come there very sick and leave there very healthy. And our thoughts and prayers are with every one of them and their families. 1-1 ball game. Kivas Sampson falls behind Neil Walker 3-1 to begin the inning, and then that one hopper skips by Brandon Phillips to the glove side. And that'll be a leadoff base hit for Walker. It ends a string of 7 in a row retired by Sampson, and it's the first hit for the Pirates since the first batter of the game.
Looks like that ball cut back over the plate on Sampson. Walker squared it up pretty good. Brandon almost came up with a miraculous catch there.
It's not a surprise, Cowboy. You know, we're around these guys. I mean, some more than others. I'll tell you what, those two guys in particular that Jim Day just talked about, it's not taking anything away from anybody else.
Talking about J.J. and Schumacher.
J.J. Hoover and Skip Schumacher are truly two of the most grounded players that I've ever had a chance to be around. I mean, they've never forgotten where they came from. They're just really good, decent, solid men. Now, Hoover just recently got married. He doesn't have a family yet, but he lives here year-round. And talked about Schumacher's 2 children, beautiful kids, along with his wife. Just a sweet family.
Yeah, there is life that goes on outside of this ballpark.
One ball and 2 strikes on Cervelli. He drew a walk from Sampson. That's the only walk Kivas has in the game so far tonight. He's fanned 3, allowed 2 hits in a run. Fly ball straight away center field. Plenty of room back there for Billy. And Walker thought about tagging up. Hamilton threw it all the way back to the pitcher. We invite you to join Dan Hoard and head coach Tommy Tuberville tomorrow for Bearcat Sports Weekly presented by CBTS. Look back at last Saturday's opener. Spectacular new Nippert Stadium. And this weekend taking on the Temple Owls. That's going to be a good game. That's tomorrow at 6 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Steve Reich 1 to Jordy Mercer.
Starting to see a lot more pitches from Sampson right down at the bottom of the kneecap.
One pitch popped up to the shortstop Suarez, and that'll be the second out of the inning. So now the pitcher to go to get through 5 outstanding innings tonight for Kivas Sampson.
When you stay down in that part of the strike zone, Tom, down around the kneecaps. Now everybody says, well, keep the ball low, but what it does for the pitcher is when you do miss with a breaking ball or an occasional pitch that's up in the strike zone, it's not a common occurrence. So you can't the hitter just can't sit on it to smash it. You stay down, they have to look down. That pitch down in the strike zone is the most difficult to square.
Happ flied out to left field, his only time up. Strike 2. It has been a long time since Sampson has had 5 innings in a game like he's had tonight. And there's a check swing and a miss, strike 3. He's through 5 for the first time in nearly a month. A 1-1 game.
Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, Saturday with the Cardinals in town, you can catch the Reds and the Cardinals game on Fox Network starting at 12:30 Saturday. And then at 7 o'clock, you can jump over to FS1 for the Tigers and the Indians. You can watch both games only on Fox and Fox Sports 1. They're streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Pitching matchups over the weekend. Have John Lamb tomorrow night against Jaime Garcia. Jay Bruce down strike 1 in his 1-1 game last of the 5th. Michael Lorenz and John Lackey Friday night. Day games Saturday and Sunday. It's a 1:05 start Saturday. D. Sclafani and Lance Lynn. And then Raisel Iglesias and Michael Wacha. 1:10 Sunday afternoon. Lynn and Walker coming off starts where they were just lit up by the Cubs. As Bruce has gone on 3 pitches to begin the Reds' 5th, and that is 8 strikeouts now for Jay Happ. We were talking about birthdays earlier. Billy Hamilton celebrating one, but the Reds in Fox Sports Ohio would love to send a happy birthday wish to Frank Walden in South Point, Ohio. That one off the mound. That's just bad luck for Suarez. It ricochets right at Walker, 2 away. Frank Walden from South Point, Ohio, attended his first ever Reds game 65 years ago today at Crosley Field when he was 6 years old. Wow. So 71 big ones. Frank Walden, happy birthday. Now Barnhart, he fly to right his first time up. Reds have 2 hits. A home run by Frazier and a single by De Jesus. That's it. Nationals leading the Mets 2-1. That game at the bottom of the 5th inning in D.C. Games in the American League of importance. The Yankees are a game and a half behind Toronto for the lead in the American League East. Toronto trails Boston 4-0 in the 4th. Yankees in the 5th, a 3-1 advantage over the Orioles. And as hard to believe as it may be for some, certainly for me, Cowboy, I don't know about you, all of a sudden they're doing the Texas 2-step in the American League West.
Yes, they are.
The Astros lead the surprising Rangers by 1 game. Impressive so far.
Really has, Tom, and I think you go back to that first at bat with that guy at the plate, Aramis Ramirez. He set it up with that good fastball down and away, and he seems to have kept that same mechanical posture throughout this ball game. You lock up a guy like McCutchen and the guy that hit the ball 470-something feet last night, Jung Ho Gung, you've done something. And tonight, Sampson is doing his thing.
Well, naturally, in a 1-1 game, every inning is important. but especially when you're facing the top of the order in a 1-1 game in the 6th inning. And that's what the Pirates have coming up. 3rd time now through the batting order. And they have the same number of hits the first time through the order as they had the 2nd time through the order. Exactly 1. Polanco has 1 of them. A double to lead off the game into left center field. They bunted him to 3rd. And now he tries to bunt his way on, and that's foul before Tucker got to it. A fly ball would pay Polanco off the bat of McCutchen. The Reds scored their only run on a Todd Frazier home run. His career best 31st home run of this season. And he muscles this one into left field, a base hit. So Polanco aboard. He has 23 stolen bases. He has been thrown out 10 times.
It's like they wanted to go in here, but you can see this ball leaks back out over the plate just enough. Didn't hit it on the barrel, but he got enough of the bat to it to be able to shoot it over the shortstop Suarez. If that ball is another couple of inches inside, it's just a mere pop-up to the shortstop.
Marte put down the sacrifice, which advanced Polanco's 2nd to 3rd, leading to a run in the 1st inning. Then he grounded out right back to Sampson on a hot smash into 3rd, a 1-hopper. Sampson, a long look down to the Pirates' 3rd base coach, Rick Sofield. 1 ball and no strikes. Polanco a short lead, and that throw high to Votto, but he caught it. Fastball swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That pitch there had a little cut to it away from Marte.
Ball 1 strike. Leadoff man aboard, and again a throw over before Polanco really even had taken a lead of any significance.
And I think that's coming from the Reds dugout. You can see the signal put down from Tucker Barnhart where the pinky and the index finger are extended, almost the horn as you call it. That's coming from the first base dugout. You can see Barnhart looking in.
There he goes. Pitch taken. Throw to 2nd. And not going to be in time. Pick the right pitch to run on, an off-speed pitch. It's a 24 stolen base in 34 tries for Polanco.
You can see Polanco continuing to move off the bag, and after you pick a couple of times, well, that's when the base runners start to think, all right, he's not coming over here a 3rd time.
You know, the question I get from a lot of fans is, Cowboy, talking about, you know, that kind of thing right there, is Polanco on the 2 prior throwovers had really not even started to take his lead, and you throw over twice, and really it was meaningless. You know, you can make the argument, well, you're trying to keep him close. You want him to know that you're paying attention to him and all that kind of thing. Here's a 2-1. But then the one time he takes a monster lead on you, and he had a monster lead right there, you don't throw over.
Well, the problem is with a young pitcher, as soon as you see the throw over sign, you want to do it right then. But you're taught through the minor leagues, hold the ball, hold the ball, hold the ball, then pick, so it looks like your normal routine. Kiva Sampson did not do that. He picked immediately as soon as he saw the sign. So when he did hold the ball coming to the plate, extra jump for Polanco. You get the same thing on a pitch out. You get a pitch out. You don't want to slide step on a pitch out. You just want to do your normal routine coming to the plate, so it appears that you don't know they're running. You're trying to fool the guy that's at first base, at least with your body language.
Two and two the count. We're in the 6th inning of a 1-1 game. Nobody out. Polanco the lead run at second base. Grounded foul and a breaking ball.
Of course, when you're a young pitcher and you've got a base runner on and you've got the likes of Marte and McCutchen, you know you've got to face with that base runner on and nobody out. Your heart's beating 1,000 miles an hour and you can hear it in your ears. It's kind of hard to continue to concentrate and hold the ball. You may hold the ball for a millisecond and it feels like it's an hour.
Popped him up. Suarez will come in to get it, and that's a big out right there for Kiva Sampson. The runner obviously does not advance. One away in the inning. And here comes McCutchen.
Watch this curveball here. Starts right at the mast. As a hitter, you see that as the fastball. No hump to it at all as it comes out of the hand of Sampson. Boy, he really had Marte out in front.
Well, here's the biggest at bat of the night so far. The Pirates' best player, among the very best in the league. He had a sac fly RBI his first time up. Go ahead run at second base, 1 out in the 6th inning. Ball 1. You have a base open here. You don't necessarily have to give in, as they sometimes say, to McCutchen. Ramirez is the batter waiting on deck.
I mean, there is no doubt that the guy standing at the plate is one of the top hitters with runners in scoring position in the game. Not just in this game, the game period.
Showed you the numbers last night. We'll show them to you again from McCutchen. I mean, they are mind-boggling. According to the situation, is this luck, as some would argue? That with the runners on, you jump from 281 to 332. In scoring position, you jump to 377. With 2 outs, you jump to nearly 400. Is that luck?
Not hardly.
2-0 pitch. Breaking ball low and away.
For McCutchen, most times these situations you're pitching right into his swing. Rarely do you want to pound a guy inside with runners in scoring position. Most pitchers want to go away with the fastball and the breaking ball. That's pitching right into his wheelhouse, as we saw last night when he jet that ball out of right field.
Well, that was the old proverbial pitch around right there. There wasn't a pitch anywhere close to the strike zone in that at bat. And it's that old adage. You hear it all the time, and you'll hear it again if you live to be another 1,000 years old. That you're not going to let that guy beat you. And so the Reds were not going to let McCutchen break a 1-1 tie. Just like if Votto was up there, you'd have seen the same thing. But now you face a guy who's knocked in over 1,400 runs in his career. And that's Aramis Ramirez. 0 for 2 tonight, a strikeout and a ground out to Votto. 2 on, 1 out. Base hit left field by Ramirez. They will hold up the runner at third. DeJesus got to that ball quickly, was hit very sharply. And they are loaded for Gunn. Well, it looks like Jeff Pico will come out of the Reds dugout. The Reds have had Sam LeCure up and throwing in the bullpen. He's the one guy the Reds clearly are not afraid to bring into a game with runners on base. But they're going to let young Mr. Sampson figure out what he can do right here and right now in a 1-1 game. This game belongs to him. Steve Reich one on the inside corner with a fastball.
You know, if you're Brian Price, you really want this situation for Sampson for the future. You want him to be able to work through these types of innings where you've got runners on, they're your runners, you got to make the pitch.
Tried the fastball in the inside corner again, didn't miss by much, but just off the plate. They are loaded for the Pirates with one out in a 1-1 game. Nothing but fastballs so far in this at bat, all in on Gunn. And now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Does he have the confidence on a 2-2 pitch to go after that slider down and away on him here?
That's what he got him in the last at bat.
And they're loaded.
Slider was the pitch of choice for the strikeout in his last at bat.
See what they do here on 2-2. They're going in again with another fastball, and that is hammered grand slam. One too many fastballs on the inside part of the plate. One becomes 5-1 Pirates. Gunn home run number 15.
Pitch by pitch, if you will. In early, first pitch is a strike, just misses with the second in off the plate. Tries to go back in, pulls it down, goes away, the ball runs back over the middle, and well, we know where that one went.
Do you like that sequence here, Cowboy? And it's not talking after the fact, because we said it was nothing but fastballs all in. We wondered about a 2-2 breaking ball away from him, and you touched on it that was the strikeout pitch against the same batter back in the 4th inning.
Well, if you get the ball in on his hands, yeah, but when you throw 4 consecutive fastballs, your brain starts to think, all right, I've really got to make a perfect pitch here, and you end up holding on to it too long, and it gets right out over the plate. Sometimes along the line of that, if you want to get him out with the fastball, make him foul off a breaking ball. You've already struck him out. You made him look really bad on the at-bat before with the breaking ball.
Too bad Kivas working on a really nice ball game here tonight through the front 5. 3-2 the count on Walker.
And this is not the first time that we've seen this from any of the Reds' young starters. This is the part that you have to overcome if you're going to be a 6 or 7 inning pitcher. You've got to figure out a way to get through the lineup the third time through. Now, does that mean you have to have 17 different pitches? No. But you've got to be able to locate even when you have fatigue.
That's probably it for him. Here comes Brian Price. So through 5 innings, it was a 2-hit, 1-run game for Sampson. He leaves after 5 1/3. Only gets 1 out here in this inning. The pop up by Marte. He gives up 3 hits in the inning, so 5 overall on the night. Walks 3, strikes out 4. This will be our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Sam LeCure replaces Kivas Sampson. Starting tomorrow night, thanks to Kroger, Cincinnati's very own Kroger. I mean, we got a lot going on. We got fireworks, giveaways, Sundays, all the great stuff for the kids. Come on down to Great American Ballpark. Reds and the Cardinals starting tomorrow night. Sam LeCure takes over for that man, Kivas Sampson, who was on a real good run tonight through the front 5, and unfortunately for Kivas and the Reds, it did not sustain through the 6th. 1 on, 4 in. The Pirates get their first grand slam of this season. But of course, grand slams are not foreign to the Reds. They've given up 7 of them. Fly ball into left field, and it's caught. So LeCure takes care of Cervelli on the first pitch out of his hand.
Gotta like the way Sam's thrown the ball since he's come back up from Louisville. Just get outs, baby. Just get outs. That's all that matters. I don't care how you get them. Just get them out.
Well, now Jordy Mercer, the batter, and that's misses ball 1. The 7 grand slams allowed by the Reds this season, most in the National League. Tell you what, this gun is really, I mean, that is a rock solid pickup by the Pirates.
His hitting skills I've been impressed with. May not be the type of defensive player that they thought they were getting, but I guarantee you they didn't know he was going to hit like this. I know he had a lot of home runs where he was at in Korea, but he's making a play over here right now, and this is the Grande Liga.
You're talking about a 290 batter. He now has what, 15 home runs, knocking on the door of 60 runs batted in.
And he hasn't really gotten to play a whole lot, especially early in the season.
Yeah.
He was just sitting over there taking it all in.
I mean, really the whole dynamic of their club changed when Josh Harrison got hurt very early in the season. It forced guys to start moving around a little bit. And ultimately, Gunn getting the chance. We remember when the Pirates were here to open the season. Harrison, an all-star a season ago. Of course, young man from right here, Princeton High School in Cincinnati and the University of Cincinnati. And remember, they rewarded him with a long-term contract. There's a slow tapper to short. Suarez has to hurry. And he got it to end the inning. Nice play by Eugenio. LeCure retires the only two he faces. The grand slam by Gunn. And now we're going to wait and see if the Pirates, I guess, might take a look at this one before we go to commercial break. Apparently not. All right. The grand slam by Gunn gives Clint Hurdle's team a 5-1 lead. At the Jefferson Social, that's right along the banks here downtown Cincinnati. You'll have a chance perhaps to win great prizes, be a part of the action around the yard prior to first pitch. 5 o'clock at the Jefferson Social tomorrow night. Pitcher spot will lead off the Reds' bottom half of the 6th. They find themselves down by 4. Adam Duvall had the lead last night's game after he was hit on the knee with a pitch. But he is ready to go today, batting for LeCure, who retires the only two base batters that he faces in the top of the inning. Meanwhile, the story again for the Pirates has to be all about Jay Happ. I mean, he's putting himself right in line to be a serious option to pitch in the postseason if the Pirates, and it looks like they'll ultimately wind up in a one-game playoff against the Chicago Cubs. Still a lot of time, of course, between now and the end of the year. But hey, you go into a best of 5. And you know Cole and Liriano go 1-2. I don't know who they have the ball thrown better than Happ right now after that.
I would agree.
They have other guys that have been around a lot longer than Happ, that's for sure. And Charlie Morton has certainly had his ups and downs. Really, that's the story of his entire career.
Yeah, but I think when you run into the playoffs, you're going with a hot hand.
Yep.
You have no choice.
You know, A.J. Burnett, they're talking about him coming back and starting again tomorrow night. But we know he's pitching with a serious injury, an injury that, were it not Burnett's last year, he's already announced his retirement. it would require surgery that would have ended his season a long time ago. So we'll see how he throws the ball when he comes back. And again, he is slated to make his 22nd start of the year. He's been on the disabled list since the last day of July with an elbow injury in his pitching right elbow. Fly ball to right, 1 out. Billy Hamilton is returned to the lineup. Well, Billy Hamilton turns 25 today. Joey Votto will turn 32 tomorrow. And Mike Stefanski, one of the Reds coaches, he'll turn 46 on Saturday.
Maybe you and Stefanski are going to have a little cake together.
Yeah, we are.
You didn't announce your birthday.
No, you just had one last weekend. Belated happy birthday to you, Cowboy.
Yours is Saturday.
On the 5th.
It's hard to believe we're a week apart, but I'm older.
I know. Yeah, by 7 days.
Yes, sir.
Fly ball center field. Well, follow every Reds game right here on Fox Sports Ohio, but following every game, you can stick around for Reds Live, brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. We'll break it all down. Jim Day will be coming your way on Reds Live from the Fox Sports Ohio condominium. We'd like to think Jeff Pecoro would interview on Reds Live a player from the Redlegs after the game. That would mean a win. But they've got work to do. They're down by 4, and I mean, they just really had very little, if anything, going on all night long against Hap. They get the home run by Frazier in the second, a leadoff single by DeJesus, and next 3 in a row retired. And he's now set down 7 straight. 12 of the last 13 since the home run. He's not walked a batter all night.
Pretty good pickup out there by Jordy Mercer on the bag that was crossing the field. Temperature's starting to drop a little bit.
Well, that's what our buddy Tim Hedrick was talking about, that all this humidity that was hanging around today is going to blow out of here tonight. They're talking about highs over the weekend in the upper 60s, and then right back in the mid 70s and sunshine next week. Of course, you'll have a lot of sunshine out there in your old stomping ground, San Francisco. Reds will be flying there after the game on Sunday for their first and only trip to the city by the bay. How many years you call home there, Cowboy?
Oh, she's 6. Played in the organization for 9 years.
Two and two.
Took him about 3 years to understand what I was talking about. Not too much Southern dialect out there in the Silicon Valley.
There was ever one man who you could talk pretty much plain English to, and he would understand. And when he spoke to you, it was real plain English. That would be Al Rosen.
Yeah, got that right.
Nose to nose, and his was red.
For those that don't remember, Al Rosen, of course, was a great player in the major leagues.
Hard-nosed.
Tough. But I'm going to tell you, you don't see anybody like him anymore in sports. We'll talk more about that when we come back. He was something. 5-1, we go to the 7th. Of the night, brought to you by T-Mobile. Vic with Randall Kirk Myers. Now that's a big league picture. Look at Randall K. And Vic. Nice.
Looking good.
Now that's a strong fan photo.
Yeah.
That might be the best one we've had all year.
It's solid.
Burke Badenop will take over on the mound for the Reds. Pirates will come to bat here in the top of the 7th. You know, get back to Al Rosen for a minute. This guy, tough, hard-nosed player back in his day. Eventually became an outstanding general manager of the San Francisco Giants. I believe he was a GM when they drafted you, and he certainly was the GM through your tenure there, right?
That is correct.
Now, at Candlestick Park, and this is not an exaggeration, his booth was right next to the visiting TV booth in San Francisco. That old Candlestick, and boy, what a place that was. That's a story in and of itself. But you knew exactly what was going on in the game without even watching a pitch. If you would just stare into the general manager's box and watch Al Rosen. He would cheer them on when they played great, as there's out number 1. But, brother, let me tell you what. When guys started messing things up, he started messing up the room.
Ashtrays went flying.
Chairs went flying.
Believe me, I know. And dugout chairs went flying when he came down after the game.
It was unbelievable.
I can remember him. We were in Chicago. We weren't playing very good. This was 91, 92. And he came in after the game. Everybody's getting ready to leave and walk out. And he stopped everybody. Sit in your locker. And he went down the line from one player to the next. And he tore us up. I'm talking like your daddy did when you broke the rules when you were 7. I mean, up one side and down the other. And it didn't matter if you had him 1 day or 15 years. He was telling you exactly how he felt about your performance on that given day. It was none too pretty.
Liner to the shortstop for the 2nd out of the inning. You know, he just passed away during spring training this year, Al Rosen, in Rancho Mirage, California.
One of the best.
Of course, he played 4-time All-Star, 2-time home run leader in the American League, was an American League Most Valuable Player, won the World Series with the Cleveland Indians the last time they did so in 1948. They called him the Hebrew Hammer.
And he was not a very big guy. And he could crush it.
He originally came up as president and CEO of the Yankees, then the Astros, then became the general manager of the Giants in 1985. Brought that team from last place in 85 to the NL West title in 87 to the National League pennant in 1989.
Rookie year.
Not bad. That's a great nickname, the Hebrew Hammer.
He brought the hammer. He may not have had a bat in his hand, but he was verbalizing the truth that day. Woo. Smoking.
Could a general manager in this day and age get away with that?
Why not?
Well, I'm asking you seriously now. I mean, we know that it's a lot of different things going on now than it used to be. Could a general manager walk down in that room and start berating every player?
Don't you have the same expectation now as you did then?
I'm going to let you think about that for a minute.
I don't have to think about it.
All right. Well, then there we have it. Then where's the Hebrew Hammer?
With Francisco Cervelli behind the plate, it seems like they have been on the first page from the beginning of this ball game. Watch where he sets up. Cervelli well off the plate. The mitt is on the plate, but his body is off the plate. That's how he gets that call. See where he wants that changeup? He's patting the dirt down and away. He wants it just off the outside edge, and that's right where he gets it. Now when he wants the ball up, where does he go? I want it up. I want it up here by my mask. Get that thing up here. Where's the pitch? Up there, tough to get to. That's what we've been seeing all night long.
Votto, a drive into right center field, and it will bounce up and over the wall. That'll be a ground rule double for Joey Votto.
Well, this time Votto not sticking around for a bad call. First pitch that close, he jumps on it. Again, Cervelli moving off the plate. Pitch is down, cutting that way, but Votto not wasting any time. He just goes out there and gets it.
Brandon. Reds have just their 3rd hit of the night against Happ. That's now 28 consecutive games where Votto has reached base safely. It's also his 7th season now with 30 or more doubles. Guy's just been unconscious since the All-Star break. Brandon 0 for 2. Two and two on Brandon Phillips. Soria cranks it up in the Pirate bullpen. First time they've had action down there all night tonight, and I mean, why would they? Happ has struck out 10. That was his 100th pitch of the night. He's allowed 3 hits and just a solo home run by Frazier back in the Reds' 2nd inning. Votto a double to start this 7th, and it's in the dirt. 3 and 2 on Brandon. We've seen Bastardo in this series. Melanson mop up duty last night. Caminero a couple of times. Hughes a couple of times. But we've not seen Tony Watson. Nor have we seen Soria. There's a tapper to the right side, and the feed gets by the pitcher. Everybody safe, 1st and 3rd.
But it looked like Jay Happ really got off the mound late. He was falling to the 3rd base side, and you've got a guy playing first base. It's only his 2nd major league appearance at that position in Aramis Ramirez, and he just let him too far.
That's going to be it for Happ. He turned in a masterful performance here tonight. 6+, 3 hits. Soria comes on from the bullpen. Reds down 4. We're back in a moment. 5-1. Hap out. Joakim Soria takes over on the mound.
And the Reds have seen Soria. As a matter of fact, once he was traded over from the Tigers at the trade deadline, his first save came here against the Reds in this ballpark. First National League save, that is.
6+ innings, 3 hits, 10 punch outs. No walks for that man right there. And he leads with a 4-run lead. 2 on, none out after the error. I assume they charged that to Ramirez. They did. Frazier down the right field line. Polanco glides to the track, tagging and scoring Joey to make it a 5-2 game. Frazier's knocked in both Reds runs tonight. Runner at first, 1 out for Jay Bruce, 0 for 2. Is popped to first and struck out.
All 3 balls that Frazier has hit tonight have been to the right field side of second. The home run, the line drive there for the sacrifice fly, and then the fly ball to deep right field earlier. He hits the ball that way, he's an awfully difficult out.
Tell you, the team that is just amazing, the Mets. They were down 2-1. Steven Strasburg had struck out 13 batters in the game, and they rallied to tie in the 8th inning against Strasburg. You knew the way that bullpen has imploded here of late, there's no way Matt Williams is going to take Strasburg out of the game. You punch out 13-7. But in the 8th, the Mets tie the game. That'll be the 2nd out of the inning. We invite you to join the Reds in saluting our heroes Friday during Police and Fire Appreciation Night. We'll have special pregame ceremonies. After the game, of course, a fireworks show presented by Corson Fire and Security. Tickets do start as low as $12. Purchase today. 513-381-REDS.
Yeah, Tom, you mentioned the Mets, and you hear their quotes, you hear the guys talking about coming back in ball games, that they never feel like they're out of it. That's a cultivation of success that comes in a repetitive manner. They know they're going to get some decent pitching, and it looks like they just continue to feel like once they get to the 6th or 7th inning, it's like they put it into an extra gear offensively.
Well, let me run this by you. After tying the game with a runner on, Matt Williams takes Strasburg out of the game. The first batter Drew Storen faces Cespedes with a man aboard, 2-2 game in the 8th. 4-2 New York. That might be all she wrote for the Nationals.
It has happened all too often.
Holy Moses. A 3-run 8th inning to take a 2-run lead. Tell you, Cowboy, you know, we talk so much about this Central Division. You know how it goes when that team gets that feeling. And you're just talking about that could be a dangerous club if they hang on to win the division.
No doubt about it. The thing that the Mets are trying to do right now is to keep this same momentum carrying into the end of September. Now, we're still a few weeks away from that, and a lot of things can happen and change.
Now, Soria comes in and, I mean, just slams the door on any hit of a rally. It's a 5-2 game off to the 8th. Behind 1-0, but Todd Frazier took care of that with a solo home run in the 2nd inning. Stayed that way until the 6th. Keita Sampson was throwing the ball beautifully tonight, but with the bases loaded. Gung-ho Gung, a grand slam to make it 5-1 Pirates. And Jay Happ was as good as it gets tonight. This is so hard to believe, Cowboy, the difference in this guy now wearing a Pirate uniform.
Very aggressive, as we said, down early in the strike zone. And when you're throwing a lot of strikes early in the count, it allows you to expand the strike zone, whether you go up or whether you go out. And he used them all.
Well, the Reds are going to go to their bullpen. They've used Sampson and LeCure tonight. Got an inning out of Badenhop. And now Jumbo. Reds bullpen so far tonight, 5 up and 5 down. It's starting to rain ever so lightly here in Cincinnati. And we were told that was in the forecast. At right around 9:15, 9:30, we had a chance for some wet stuff for a little while. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Rubber game of this series, and it's a 3-run spread. McCutchen takes up and in ball 1. Andrew, a sac fly RBI in the 1st inning, struck out looking in the 4th. He walked and scored on the grand slam in the 6th. Slider away, 2-0.
See that pitch right there in back-to-back pitches? Nobody wants to hit that pitch. I don't care what kind of hitter you are. You don't want to hit that pitch. And if you can make that pitch as a pitcher, you're going to get a lot of consistent outs.
Three fastballs in a row after falling behind 2-0 takes care of McCutchen.
And this is our Cholula flamethrower, brought to you by Cholula hot sauce, as Jumbo Diaz dials it up to 97 miles an hour.
Are you much of a cook, Cowboy? You know, you got to talking about Cholula and putting it on your eggs. When you roll out of the hay around noon, 1 o'clock, do you
I don't get up that late.
Oh, I'm sorry. How late was it?
Noon, 1 o'clock. Okay, what's the question?
I mean, are you the guy that'll, whip yourself up a nice breakfast in the morning?
Well, it depends.
When you're away from your family.
It depends on if the eggs are expired after I've come back from a road trip.
Straight away center field off the bat of Ramirez. Hamilton all the way to the track. 2 away. But say a day like tomorrow. I mean, when you roll out of the hay, are you going to go in there and, get moving on a nice breakfast for yourself, or probably not? Maybe swing over to some local joint, or just forget about it entirely.
I probably won't be.
Have a Coca-Cola.
Well, I'll definitely have that. That's the first thing I have. That's my coffee. But I probably won't be fixing any eggs because I don't have any in the refrigerator.
But if you had them, do you?
I would, yes.
All right.
But I like a lot of bacon and sausage with my eggs as well.
You have any of that in the fridge?
Yes, that's a given.
So you just have a Coke and half a pound of sausage.
Need to get ready for that day's or night's game. It is Reds Live pregame. It's brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing. And tomorrow night we'll hit the air at 6:30 for that Reds Live pregame as the Cardinals come to town for 4. In fact, they're probably already in town. Jaime Garcia, lefty versus lefty. A couple lefties on the hill as John Lamb goes back to the hill. Looking for better luck and still searching for that first major league victory. Again, Reds Live 6:30 tomorrow. Cardinals and Reds to follow.
Jimbo, I look down there and see you by the Reds dugout, and I believe it was prior to last season when you were given that really sweet Fox Sports Ohio rain gear.
Yes.
As Tony Watson takes over on the mound facing Jason Bourgeois. A pinch hitter to lead things off. Brian Pena standing in the on-deck circle. Reds are down 5-2. Well, it's starting to rain a little bit down there, right?
Yeah, I had to do that pregame promo. So it inhibited me from putting it on, but that is where I'm off to right now.
Yeah, but move back over where you were a minute ago because I want everybody to see you on TV for a second. Here's a pitch
You're
flowing
setting me
away.
up for something. You just want me to stand in the rain? I can do that.
All right, we'll get a shot of you. There you are down there. So you have no protection from the elements tonight. Where is the rain gear?
It's in my bag. I was going to get it, but I was giving that, as I said, that very, very important report top of this half inning.
So are you getting rained on right now where you're standing?
Yes, Tom, I am.
Go on, Beck. I apologize. That's not nice. I apologize.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I agree with Cowboy. You don't apologize.
Coke and a half a pound of sausage. I like that. How long did you think you could keep his hand in there?
We could have had that go on, I think, for a while, but yeah, that's not very nice. 3-2 the count on Bourgeois. And a base hit into right field to start the bottom of the 8th inning. All right, so Jumbo taken down for a pinch hitter. He works a perfect inning. So it's 2 2/3 innings of perfect baseball from the Reds bullpen tonight behind Sampson. And here is Brian Pena. Roll back over to the top of the order next. This is a talented Pirate left-hander. We know that. That is a fair ball up the left field line by Pena. On his way to third is Bourgeois. They'll hold him there, and now all of a sudden the Reds will have the tying run come to the plate. Wondered if Pena is okay out there at second base. He's in some pain. He's going to have to lead the game.
The ball almost took the face of Jung Ho Gung on. Looked like his hamstring grabbed him as he rounded the bag there.
Oh boy, that's too bad. Quite gingerly, Brian makes his way back to the Reds dugout. Flanked by Brian Price and head trainer Paul Lassard. Billy Hatchett brings up the rear. So here we go back to the top of the order. Reds are down 4-2, but they have runners at second and third and nobody out. Ryan Lamar runs for Pena. But at the very minimum, you have to get 2 runs here. At the minimum, to get within a run. Of course, the Reds now do have an extra catcher after they brought up Ramon Cabrera. So he will have to come into this game as it's 2-0 on Billy Hamilton. Pinch hits from Bourgeois and Pena, second and third. Nobody out. And Watson has not thrown Billy Hamilton, of all hitters, a strike.
And Watson's only walked 11 batters all year long. Normally he's right around the strike zone.
3 balls and a strike on Billy Hamilton. And they are loaded with none out. Nobody getting loose in that Pirate bullpen.
But Ray Searage is getting loose because he's heading to the mound to talk with his left-hander.
Rain continues to lightly fall. Searage not yet to the mound. Sean Rodriguez, you see, has come into the game to take over at first base for Aramis Ramirez.
You're talking about a guy in Tony Watson that has not given up a run in his last 17 appearances, spanning 16 2/3 innings.
Well, the Pirates have hit a grand slam tonight. Why not the Reds' turn to hit one?
That would be so large.
Now, a few bodies starting to scurry around out there beyond the right field wall. But right now, all eyes focused on Ivan De Jesus Jr. And he takes strike 1. Not sure he agreed with that call.
Jared Hughes is getting up, right-handed sinker ball pitcher.
We've already seen him in each of the first 2 games of this series. Just now getting up. That's his first pitch. Oh, 2.
And I don't think you'll see Hughes until after Votto comes to the plate, if at that point.
Loaded for the Reds, nobody out. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ivan De Jesus Jr. and Watson to the plate. 95-mile-per-hour fastball swung on and fouled straight back. Again, a 1-2. And again, a foul ball.
Watson giving De Jesus a steady diet of the number 1. Cervelli continues to set up underneath the hands of De Jesus. At least he has through the first few pitches here.
Especially with the bases loaded, pitchers rarely like getting to that 3-2 count. So generally, the 2-2 pitch, you can expect action. Let's see if De Jesus is ready to put it in play. He is. He's hoping it'll get out of play. What a catch by Rodriguez. Did he catch that ball?
Missed it. Thought he had it for a moment.
I thought he had it too.
Great effort. Just off the edge of the glove.
Never saw that thing trickle down there from our vantage point. He looked in there, thought he had it momentarily. All right. So De Jesus still alive. Nothing but fastballs in this at bat so far. Watson v. De Jesus. And a 2-2. Fastball in the air to deep right center field. Polanco makes the over-the-shoulder catch. Tagging and scoring is Bourgeois. And that makes it a 5-3 game. You a little surprised Lamar's not standing at third right now?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you get back to the bag, if it bounces, you're probably not going to get any further. If it bounces over the wall, it's a ground rule double. You can walk home. All right, 5-3. Here's Votto. 4 of 16 in his career against Watson. A double, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. It was a good battle there by De Jesus. He didn't miss by much from doing major damage. There's a buckler there. Two on, 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball is strike 2 on the outside corner. This is one of those nights seemingly Votto has disagreed with just about every pitch that has been called a strike. And he has good reason to disagree according to Fox Tracks there. Votto's been thrown out of the game.
This has gone on all night, and there has been a running conversation with Votto. He is awfully, awfully upset.
Never seen him like this. Not this upset.
Well, all of this, I think, goes back to the first couple of at-bats for Votto. There were pitches that were very questionable whether they were strikes or not. They were called strikes, and you can see the conversation going on with Votto here.
You could read his lips looking into the dugout. He said, I had asked for time. And whatever preceded that, asked for time. You could read those last few words, and then the slamming of the helmet, slamming of the bat right in the face, and Wilkie, the crew chief, almost pointing at his face saying, you're making contact with my face here.
I don't think he ever made contact. He may have had some saliva come out of his mouth because he was irate. I don't think he ever made contact with his face.
Well, Brian Price is right on the border of getting thrown out too.
He is out.
He is out. It's going to be very interesting to hear what happened afterwards, because you can read Brian Price's lips again there saying the words timeout. And that was what Votto said when he turned and looked to the dugout as if looking for help from somebody in there. and just saying, I asked for timeout. Now, could he have asked for timeout and the umpire told him forget about it, get in the box? And, you know, now you're already building on what's been going on since the first at bat of the game. Votto was thrown out of a game earlier this year against these Pirates. That was back in May. I mean, he was just as upset tonight as he was then. It was over a foul ball. Was thrown out of the game. That's when he bumped the umpire. Little flare into short right. It'll fall in a hit. Ramon Cabrera with a base hit. That's his first major league hit. How about that? He comes in for Joey Votto.
Immediately he asked for the ball. Can I get the ball?
Oh, good for him. After all that we just saw a moment ago. Right off the end of the bat, just drops that baby right down the line. Congratulations. First major league hit for Ramon Cabrera. All right, they're loaded for Brandon Phillips. Reds have 3 hits in the inning. They had 3 hits the first 7. And now they've got some guys up there who can do some major league damage. Ball 1 high. Hughes is ready in the bullpen, but they decide to stay with the left-hander Watson. Number of the line. That'll be the second out of the inning. Scoring is Lamar, making it a 5-4 game. Now do they stay with Watson, or do they go ahead and walk Frazier and have Watson face Bruce?
They're going to walk him.
Hamilton, they're going to go ahead and walk Frazier. That's what you figured they would do. Again, it's one of those where you say, okay, if it's not Votto, the next in line, you're not going to let beat you. And obviously with the base open, you're just not going to take the chance. Neither Frazier nor Bruce have had any success at all against Watson. In fact, the numbers are just frightening. Frazier is 1 for 10. Bruce is 1 for 18. You might say he's due.
Well, the key here is watching the response from Hamilton at third base on any type of breaking ball that gets into the dirt. Because that has been the pitch that has given Bruce the biggest amount of trouble from this left-hander Tony Watson, is that hard breaking ball down and away. And if he holds on to it a bit too long, we may see Hamilton break for the plate.
Fastball swung on and missed, strike 1. Reds tried to rally late last night. They came up with 3 runs in the last of the 9th inning. And now quickly 0-2 on Bruce. Tying run at third, go ahead run at second, 2 outs last of the 8th inning. It's a 1-run game. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pena, a strained right hamstring as we suspected. He'll continue to be evaluated. But right now a chance for Jay Bruce to give the Reds the lead with a base hit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Inning over. But the Reds come up with a pair of runs in the 8th inning. And what an eventful 8th inning it was. Votto and Brian Price get the heave-ho. We go to the 9th in a 1-run game. Your family destination is coming Sunday. Take advantage of great ticket offers for the entire family and come early, enjoy some face painting, live mascot races, games, lots more for the kids. And by the way, for the youngsters 14 and younger, we'll give away a Homer Bailey poster thanks to PNC Bank this Sunday. Reds and the Cardinals, 1:10. Multiple changes for the Reds. De Jesus comes in from left field to take over for the ejected Joey Votto. Replacing De Jesus in left, had a pinch hit single to start the inning and scored a run, Jason Bourgeois. And now on the mound, Reds have gotten outstanding relief for it. A new battery as Cabrera gets his first major league hit. And now we'll visit with the right-hander putting together a nice year, Pedro Villarreal. It is the top of the 9th inning. Pirates 5 and the Reds 4.
Get them out quick. Take another run at them.
And that'll be against Mark Melancon. You may remember he struggled so mightily last night in the 9th inning that they took him out of the game, even with a pretty significant lead. And you pointed out at the time, Cowboy, they didn't want him to throw 40, 45 pitches in an inning and perhaps not be available for tonight. Villarreal jumps in front of Neil Walker at 0 balls, 2 strikes.
You got to believe that Melancon, after not pitching for 8, 9, 10 days, he's a little sore today after last night's affair. It's one thing to come in there and throw about 9 or 10 pitches, get them out quick after you've been off for a long time. He threw a boatload.
It is a final in Washington. The Mets have swept the Nationals. They were down 2-1 going into the 8th inning. They scored 3 to take a 2-run lead. Washington got one back in the bottom of the 8th. The Mets tack on a run in the 9th. That lead was 4 3 days ago. The Mets are getting on a plane up by 7 with 3 weeks to go. Yankees now trail Baltimore 4-3 that game in the 9th. Boston hammering Toronto tonight, so that's it. Game and a half lead for the Jays in the American League East. Straight up in the air. One out.
But I agree with what you were talking about earlier, Tom. The race that's going to be quite interesting, Texas and Houston.
Yes.
Because they've got a lot of games with each other left.
Texas playing shortly way out west in Seattle. Houston plays in Oakland. And if you missed it earlier, the conversation, the Rangers have played so well. They are now just one game behind Houston for the top spot in that American League West.
It's all about getting hot at the right time.
One on Cervelli, and Pedro to the plate off the inside corner. Looked like he went around, and he did. 2-2.
Ball started on the plate, just took a little left turn, had good velocity, but a little bit of cut to it. That fooled Cervelli.
Base hit left center field by Cervelli. He has a 1-out single. First hit for Francisco tonight, and here comes the shortstop Mercer. You're looking ahead to the Reds' bottom of the 9th inning. They need to get through the top half first to keep it a 1-run game. Suarez, Bourgeois,
Lamar. Well, no.
Well, Lamar is out of the game. That would be the pitcher spot.
sure Clint Hurdle would really like to have a little bit of insurance here at the end of this ball game.
Oh boy, look at that hit and run to perfection. That's as good as it gets right there. Well, you know, and again, little things. Your players have to execute the plays, but this is managing to win games. It's keeping the pedal to the metal, as they like to say.
Well, you've got a guy that was standing in the on-deck circle in Michael Morse. That's a fly ball hitter. The object is just to get your runner to third with less than 2 out. They did it.
And again, if you start the runner, you get a swing and a miss. Guys thrown out by 10 feet. The manager looks like a dope. But you know, that's probably a little strong. But you know what I'm saying.
Right.
But boy, when it works.
Well, that's your job as a hitter when you put on the hit and run, is to protect the runner. You have to make contact somehow.
Broken bat. This should be a double play to get out of the inning, and it is. Pedro
Large
gets a double play. So here we go. Hopefully everybody's okay. That bat went flying into stands. Ohio brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs, and by your local Toyota dealers. Proud sponsor of the Cincinnati Reds. Fountain Square. Be rocking this weekend between Reds baseball and the kickoff to the Cincinnati Bengals season on Sunday. Boy, huge hopes and expectations from Marvin Lewis' team this year. Again, playoffs 5 of the last 6, including 4 in a row. But can they win one? Here's Mark Melancon trying to nail it down. He's only blown 2 of his 45 chances all season long.
Phenomenal numbers for Melancon. If you remember back to last night, as you were talking about earlier, Tom, he had a difficult time getting things even started for that matter. There's some things about the closer that changes when the game's on the line, and it's on the line now.
Cincinnati and Josh Harrison takes over at second base, and the fastball is Steve Wright 1 to Eugenio Suarez. Melancon came in, allowed a hit, got an out, allowed a hit, a fielder's choice, then he walked a batter, and they took him out of the game. He was charged with 2 runs when Suarez hit a 2-run double into right center field. And for those of you that weren't with us, he came into a 7-0 game. 0-2 now on a Eugenio Suarez. Started 2 and laid off. 5 runs, 7 hits, an error, 4 left for the Pirates. Reds have 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors. They've left 5. The starters are the pitchers of record right now. 2-2 on Suarez, to be followed by Bourgeois. And then a pinch hitter. Reds have Schumacher available. Brennan Bosch from the left side. In fact, that's it. 3-2. Negron was injured last night. His season is over. Duvall has been used. Bourgeois is in. Lamar is in and now out. Pena and Cabrera have been used. Payoff pitch. Harrison to the glove side. 1 out. Bourgeois started the 2-run 8th with a pinch hit single into right field and later scored. Schumacher in the on-deck circle. To pitch. No on the appeal to Laz Diaz.
Lanson has come out throwing strikes tonight.
Well, Cowboy, nobody knows better than you do about the difference between walking in 7-0 when you haven't pitched in over a week and walking in 5-4.
It's a little different when the adrenaline is created for you.
Here comes the 2-2 to Bourgeois. Started 2. They don't appeal. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I would bet, Tom, with Bourgeois coming up in the Astros organization, Melanson the same, somewhere along the line, these two, their paths had to cross in an Astro uniform, somewhere along the line.
It's good and bad right there by Mr. Bourgeois, and the tying run is aboard. Schumacher has certainly been used aplenty in this role. 70 pinch hit appearances, the most in baseball, and he's delivered with the most hits. 17 of them. Fastball, a strike on the outside corner. Tying run at first base. Schumacher the winning run last of the 9th inning. 5-4 Pirates. 1 out. Soft liner will be the second down. The Reds are down to their final out. Billy Hamilton coming up.
Well, I would imagine Melanson will go after Hamilton very similar to how he approached Schumacher, trying to cut that fastball in on his hands.
Well, every now and again, we all are prone to giving ourselves a birthday present, right? How about a rare long one for Billy Hamilton?
That would be a large birthday present.
He has 4 home runs on the year. Swing and a miss, 1 ball and 1 strike. Obviously, that is not his game. Three of his 4 home runs have come from the right side, so only 1 of the 4 where he currently bats left-handed. It's going to be very interesting to hear some comments, and one would assume that Joey Votto will stick around to answer some of the questions. Perhaps not. Sometimes you don't want to say something that you might regret later, even if you've had a while to sort of cool down after being ejected from this game.
Well, I still think he goes back to the first 2 at bats of the ballgame. There were some very questionable calls from home plate umpire Bill Welke, and if Votto says that he called time and was not granted time, I'd be mad too.
Two and 1 the count. Bourgeois the tying run at first base. 3 balls and a strike to Hamilton. Takes a 3-1 fastball for strike 2. Game over. Pirates win the game 5-4. They win the series 2-1. Melanson is 44 save, Happ the win, Sampson the loss. As promised earlier in the game, our Miller Time moment brought to you by Miller Lite. A moment Ramon Cabrera will never forget. After Joey Votto had been thrown out of the game, he came up to the plate and dropped a single into right field for his first major league hit. Congratulations, Ramon Cabrera. All right, the Pirates will stay 4.5 behind the Cardinals in the National League Central. The Reds will face those Cardinals starting tomorrow night in the first of 4, and we invite you to be with us right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Right now, however, it's time for Reds Live, the post-game version. Jim Day and company standing by on Fox Sports Ohio.